Jason has a question. He says, are many modern conceptions of demonic torment in hell biblical? That's a great question, Jason. I would suggest no. The idea that demons are in hell tormenting people, I would suggest, is not a biblical doctrine. I just don't see that anywhere in Scripture. Now, just to be fair, let me take you over to Isaiah chapter 14, because there we catch a glimpse of the place called Sheol. All right, Sheol, or Hades in the Greek. And this is the king of Babylon. I believe it is a reference to Satan. It says here, your pomp is brought down to Sheol, the sound of your stringed instruments, the maggot is spread under you, and worms cover you. How you are fallen from heaven. All right, now in the Hebrew, in the Hebrew, it says Helel, which linguistically goes back to Elil in the Akkadian and Enlil in the Sumerian. All right, so I think we're talking about the ancient pagan god Enlil, who was known as the god of the air. All right, he was the god of the air. He was called the Great Mountain. He was the god of the 33 stars, and the epithets for him just go on and on and on. All right, so Ben Shachar, son of the morning. All right, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation of the farther sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, or the Hebrew word there is bor, uh, or Sheol, excuse me, and then to the lowest depths of the pit, which is the word bor. And those who see you will gaze at you and consider you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms? All right, so he's going to go into this place. He's not going to go down as a ruling king into this place. He's going to go down as one of the prisoners. He's going to go down as one of the prisoners. Now, there's another place I want to show you, and let me share my screen so that I can show you this other place, which is in Isaiah. This is in Isaiah chapter 24. Get there? All right. So Isaiah 24, and it says, it shall come to pass in that day. This is talking about the end, the very end of the tribulation. This is when Jesus comes back. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will punish on high the host of exalted ones, and on the earth the kings of the earth. They will be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. There's the word bor again, and will be shut up in the prison. After many days, they will be punished. So we see here that you have the host of exalted ones, and on the earth, the kings of the earth. All right, so the kings of the earth, I think that's pretty clear. These are people who rule. Sometimes they're called king. Maybe they're, not necessarily called king, but they're some kind of a ruler, maybe dictator. Okay, I would say, a person like Stalin, though he's dead, but he's the kind of person that would fit into this kings of the earth kind of person. So the contrast with the kings of the earth are the host of exalted ones. So who are these? Well, these are, in fact, fallen angels or demons, however you want to slice and dice that. There's some debate about that. I think that demons and fallen angels are the same thing, but we can discuss that another day. So let's go now to Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, verse 11 says, I watched then because of the sound of the pompous words which the horn was speaking. I watched till the beast was slain, and its body destroyed and given to the burning flame. All right, so we're going to compare this with Revelation chapter 19, and we're going to see that this is the same event. All right, so then the beast was captured, right? Same beast, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These two were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. All right, so this is the same event. This is great because we have now two witnesses. We have actually several on this event. But This is a really significant one. And he says, I watched till the beast was slain and its body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As for the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives are prolonged for a season and a time. All right, so we just read in Isaiah chapter 24 that those host of exalted ones on high will be gathered and they will be thrown into the pit. So when Jesus comes back, he is going to gather Satan, and he's also going to gather all the demons or fallen angels, however you want to read that, and they are going to be thrown into this place. And of course, the last witness that we have, a really good one, this is in Revelation chapter 20. And we have here, this is such an epic passage. I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold of the dragon, that serpent of old, who was the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal on him, so that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years were finished. But after these things, he must be released for a little while. All right, so in Daniel chapter 7, we saw that as for the rest of the beasts, they had their lives prolonged for a season and a time. So looking at Isaiah chapter 24 and Daniel chapter 7, I would argue that that they had their lives prolonged for a season is the sum of about 1,000 years, and then for a little while he must be released for a little while. In the book of Daniel, it says they had their lives prolonged for a season and a time. Now the word time in Hebrew is Edan. Actually, that's Aramaic, excuse me. And the word Edan is where we get time, times, and half a time, right? So we see that time, times, and half a time is 3.5 years, which we also see is 42 months, and it's also 1,260 days. All of these numbers are all over the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation. And so when Satan gets out after the 1,000 years, he and all of his fallen angels will then have 1 year to go and to wreak their havoc. All right, and of course they certainly will. Now, two more passages I want to take you to just help clarify. And let me share my screen again so that we can see this passage for yourself. These other two passages for yourself. So here we are in the book of Jude, of course, chapter 1. There's only one chapter. And so here, Jude is saying, speaking of the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. Wow. So these angels have been put into a special place. And he says, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar manner to these, having given themselves over to sexual morality and gone after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Well, we go to 2 Peter and we see the same thing. All right, so Peter talks about these same angels. God says, for if God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell, which is the word Tartaros in the Greek, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved for judgment, and did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah. All right, so these particular angels have received a judgment sometime around the days of Noah. Now, I would not suggest that it's all of the demons, because there's still a lot of demons or angels, bad angels that is, who are going around doing their thing. We see them in the days of Jesus, but but the angels that have been put into the place called hell or Tartarus or Hades or Sheol, it is a place where they themselves are going to be prisoners. So they're not down there with their pitchforks and making people suffer and all this. So all of that stuff, all of this these things that we hear, these stories that we hear, or accounts or theologies or whatever you want to call it, where the demons are down in hell and they're doing their thing. And I've watched various videos, and I saw this one where this woman went to hell, and then there's this demon down there, and he threw her into the fire. That's just nowhere to be found in the Bible. So I think that's kind of good news, actually. So great question. Thank you for asking that, Jason.